Alright, y'all, we finally made it. Fight week is here, and it feels like we've been crawling through a desert with how dry the UFC news cycle has been lately. No headlines, no drama, not even a decent fight night to hold us over. But now, boom, UFC 316 is here and is bringing some real heat. Now, I already dropped a video last week talking about this matchup and why I think it's going to be different compared to the first fight. It's not just a rematch, it's a reset, and I truly believe it's going to be way more competitive this time around. But let me be honest with y'all, I still have my doubts when it comes to Sean O'Malley. There's just some things that are hard to unsee, you know? And look, man, I've seen a lot of people in the community starting to lean towards Merab, the momentum shifting, and honestly, I don't blame them. If you were to ask me who has the better chance of winning, just based off what we've seen lately, I'd probably say Merab too. He's got that relentless pressure, that suffocating pace. I'd say the percentage definitely leans towards Merab getting his hands raised once again. Because let's just be honest here, Merab's probably going to win the fight again. And I said this not because O'Malley isn't dangerous. He is. He's slick, precise, and he has that sniper energy where one clean shot can end it. But over 5 rounds against a guy like Merab, you've got to be near perfect. And we've already seen that's not the case. Now, when you go back and watch the first fight, yeah, it wasn't a total blowout. Sean had his moments. He won the 5th round. He landed some nice shots, but while people point to those bright spots, they're missing the full picture. Merab controlled that fight. He banked minutes. He dictated the terms. And most importantly, he never faded. Even after eating clean shots, even after getting clipped by that body kick in round 5, Merab just kept coming. That's not normal. That's not something you could prepare for with a better diet or an ice bath, you know? That's just who he is. And let's talk control time. Sean gave up over 10 minutes of time. That's not just he got taken down a couple times. That's full rounds where he got stuck defending, trying to survive. Compare that to guys like Umar and Cejudo who were able to stuff a couple takedowns or even reverse them, fought back potentially. Sean wasn't even doing that. He was trying to find space and Merab just kept pulling it away from him. That's what people forget. Merab's not just a cardio guy. He's also strong, technical, and a genius when it comes to demoralizing you. I mean, remember that moment at the end of the first round where Merab was kissing him and just stood there? That wasn't just showmanship, man. That was psychological warfare. That was like, I know you're tired and I'm not. That was you just landed 2 clean shots and I'm laughing at you. Who does that? Who can't coach that kind of mental edge? And O'Malley, he hates that moment. You can see it. He was frustrated. He wanted to prove a point, and Merab just no-sold the damage like it was nothing. Now, I get it. People are saying Sean is coming in healthier this time. They're talking about how he couldn't wrestle properly in camp and how his ribs were shot, how he's more focused now. And cool, maybe that matters. But let's not act like Merab's not still gonna go to be Merab. If anything, he improved too. He just beat Umar, who arguably is a worse stylistic matchup than Sean. Umar can grapple, he can scramble, and he's faster. And Merab still found a way to win that. So if you think Sean suddenly having a slightly better training camp is gonna flip the script, I don't know, man. I'm not seeing it. And even if Sean does land something, you gotta ask, can he hurt Merab bad enough to finish him? Because nobody has. Marlon Moraes hurt him, sure, but that was a year ago. Since then, he's been in the pocket with hitters, got touched, smiled, kept walking forward. Sean doesn't throw away that same urgency or volume. He waits, he times, and yeah, when it lands, it's nasty, but will it be enough? But will it land often enough or clean enough? And that's where it gets dicey for Sean, because if you don't clip Merab early and hurt him bad, you're in for hell. You're getting dragged into deep ends, and say what you want about Sean's 5th round rally last time. That was after 3 rounds of giving up positions and being forced to defend. That was Merab easing off the gas a little. Let's not act like Sean was the fresher fighter. And at the end of the day, man, you're either picking Sean by early knockout or you're picking Merab to break him again. And I just don't think Sean has enough tools to survive the long enough to make those big moments count. He's gonna have to wrestle, he's gonna have to scramble, and he's gonna have to eat some hard shots. And I just don't think he has that in him for 5 rounds against this version of Merab. So yeah, based on everything we've seen, everything we know, and everything we broke down, I'm leaning with the guy who's built for 25-minute wars. I'm going with Merab, the machine, the man who just can't be stopped apparently. And here's the other thing nobody's really talking about. Merab's ability to game plan has leveled up. This isn't just some cardio maniac who's blindly shooting for takedowns anymore. He's setting things up now. He's baiting reactions when feints. He's using kicks. He's actually becoming unpredictable in a way he's able to blend his entries. And that's scary, because if you give this guy like Merab more tools to disguise his pressure, it's game over. Look at how he fought Umar. Dude was charging with rhythm, mixing high and low, drawing out counters, and adjusting on the fly. He's not not the same guy he was even a year ago. And the way he times his entries now, it's not about power or double or brute strength anymore. It's about timing, reading you, waiting for moments you overcommit, then dragging you to the mat. And when you're finally backed up, you're more tired than before. That's the genius of Merab. Every takedown attempt, even the ones that don't even land, are draining your soul. Now contrast that with O'Malley. Yes, he's precise. Yes, he's dynamic, but he's not a consistent damage dealer for over 25 minutes. He fights in bursts. He's calculated. He's not a guy who throws 80 strikes around. He doesn't push a pace like Merab does. So if he doesn't land something clean early, what's the plan? Is he just going to get out volume? Is he just going to out volume Merab, out scramble him, wrestle with him? None of that is likely. And then there's the pressure, mental pressure, physically pressure, the weight of inavailability. With Merab, you're not even fighting a man. You're fighting time, gravity, exhaustion, and doubt. You're fighting the voice in your head telling you it's happening again. I'm getting controlled. I'm down 2-0. I need a finish. That's what broke so many guys before. That's what might break Sean. Even the 5th round from the first fight, where O'Malley looked decent, let's not ignore context. He was losing the fight, he needed a moment, he emptied the tank, and Merab still didn't break. In fact, Merab kind of played it up, leaned into damage just to humiliate him. That's what stuck with me. Not the body kicks, not the punches, not the facial expression, the what's this guy's problem. Energy while getting punched in the face like he was sparring, not in a war. That was psychological warfare at its finest. And yeah, let's address it. The excuse crowd, the injury thing. Sean couldn't wrestle last time. Okay, his rib was hurt. Cool, that's unfortunate. But guess what? Merab's been injured too. Everyone's injured, especially at this level. That's not a get out free card anymore, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't erase the 10 minutes of control time. It doesn't change the fact that Merab dictated the fight. Also, what happens if Sean gets taken down again? What happens if round 1 doesn't go his way? You really think he's gonna just rally back and win 4 straight rounds against the best cardio wrestler in UFC history? Let's be serious. And yeah, maybe he's more focused this time, off social media, he's eating cleaner, training harder, but that's always been the narrative. That's nothing new. Sean's always been saying that he's locked in. He's always doing the red light therapy and the ice bath. That's not a fight changer. That's a baseline. And the wildest part, Merab doesn't have a specialty. In this traditional sense, it's not one-shot knockout power, it's not jiu-jitsu, it's his aura, his pace, his refusal to stop. That's his superpower. That's what makes him elite. That's what makes him a championship material. We talk about GOATs having one thing that defines them. Merab's thing is that you just can't break him. You can land, you can scramble, you can throw everything, but he's still there like a freaking fly. And honestly, I'm being real with you guys, that's what I want in a champion. I'm not saying that O'Malley doesn't have a place in this division. He does. But if we're talking about who carries the belt, who should represent the top of the weight class, it's the guy who beats everyone the hard way. The guy who outlasts Umar, outpaced Yan, outmuscles Cejudo. The guy who throws 49 takedown attempts like it's just a warm-up. So when I zoom out and ask myself who's more likely to improve their game over the 5 rounds, it's always Merab, every time, because Sean has one path, a clean finish. Merab has multiple. He can control, grind, frustrate, and outwork you. He wins decision. He breaks people. He steals rounds just by existing in your face. And I'm just being real with you guys. This ain't peaches and creamsville. Unless Sean lands that perfect shot early, I just don't see how he wins. But picking a guy just because he might land that one shot isn't smart betting. It's hope. And against a guy like Merab, hope is not a strategy. I'll tell you that. Now, to be fair, let's give Sean his due. Let's really sit down and imagine what a perfect fight from O'Malley would even look like, because that's the bar here. He doesn't just need to win, he needs to be flawless for 25 minutes against a guy who never stops coming forward. So okay, let's say this. If Sean's gonna win this rematch, he's gonna have to come out like he always does. Reads the script, he has to use every inch of his range, every bit of his timing, and be defensively perfect. That means moving side to side, staying off the cage, consistently keeping Merab guessing. He can't let Merab settle into rhythm where he can just march him forward and get into the grind. He starts interrupting that rhythm before it starts. That means using the jab to keep Merab at bay, punishing him every time he steps in with a low kick and throw up middle knees whenever Merab drops levels. He has to feint consistently, switch stances, and basically create an environment where Merab never feels comfortable enough to shoot without eating something clean, because Sean's at his best when he's the one dictating the range, when he's forcing opponents to react to him, not the other way around. And if he gets those reads early, if he starts to touch Merab with a clean 1-2 and times him coming in with a knee or a sneaking rear uppercut, then maybe he can start slowing Merab down. Maybe he can build confidence off that and turn this into a fight, into a sniper duel instead of a grind. He'd have to fight like a matador, touch and move, sting and reset, not get greedy, not chase the finish, just play smart, technical chess every single round. And yeah, in that world, he might win. Maybe he clips Merab with a clean knee, with Merab dipping in. Maybe he folds him with a body shot like in the 5th round of their first fight, but this time jumps on him before Merab can recover. That's the dream scenario. But you know what? The problem is, it's not just that he has to be perfect, it's that he has to be perfect. While getting dragged into that kind of fight he hates, Merab is not going to give him 5 minutes of space, I'm telling you. He's not going to let Sean look pretty and dance around the cage. He's going to force chaos. He's going to shoot, miss, clinch, press, reset, shoot again. He's going to test Sean's balance, his cardio, his composure, and more importantly, his mental stability. So yeah, that's where I'm with. I've looked at every angle, I rewatched the fight, ran through the what ifs for O'Malley, and even gave him credit for the shots that he landed and the improvement he might bring into this rematch. But at the end of the day, I just think Merab is built different. It's not flashy, it's not always fun to watch, but it works. The guy breaks people. And if you're not that type of fighter who can stop him dead in his tracks with one shot, then you're in trouble. Sean O'Malley, he's talented, he's dangerous, but I just don't think he has the kind of power, not against a guy who eats shots like Merab and keeps moving forward like a damn machine. So unless Sean lands something clean and early, and even that big maybe, I think we're going to see a similar result to the first fight. Merab dragging him into deep waters, smothering him with pressure, and walking out with another hard-earned win. Maybe it's a little cleaner this time, who knows, maybe even a 49-46, but I've got Merab, and I'm pretty confident in that pick. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys rolling with the sniper, or are you guys riding with the machine? Either way, we're in for a banger at UFC 316. Until next time, stay sharp, guys.